wildlife and conservation at the center of economic development, with communities as core investors in the continent's wildlife economy. As part of efforts to achieve the aspirations under the New Deal and to build more resilient communities and ecosystems, CASA Secretariat, with support from the cooperating partners, is developing the Livelihoods Diversification Strategy. The framework seeks to, among other things, empower people with a wider range of livelihood choices and, in the process, reducing unsustainable dependency on diminishing natural capital reserves.
The aim of the strategy is to obviously support community livelihoods, looking at ways to improve and enhance those livelihoods, having worked across a region which has had a broad focus on tourism. But over the last few years, especially in the light of COVID, we realized that tourism is not the be-all and end-all, it's not the sole solution.
In pursuit of the bottom-up approach and the need to amplify community voices, community representatives from Botswana, Namibia, Zambia and Zimbabwe were among the participants who graced the two-day CASA Livelihoods Diversification Strategy Community Engagement Workshop, which took place in the resort city of Victoria Falls from the 9th to the 10th of February in 2022.
You have to involve them because they're the ones with the problem and you're trying to design a solution for them to try and help them. It's important to have their input from day one. If you try and do something without their consent or their buy-in, chances are you're going to fail.
I was particularly intrigued by the community representatives as they took it as something that is their own. The strategy that is being developed, they took it as their own. So they were able to share experiences, share what is existing, the difficulties, and of course propose some recommendations to improve the existing livelihoods.
The decisions shouldn't be coming from top, going down to the communities, but it has to come from the communities going up to Secretariat of CASA.
Most communities across the CASA landscape have relied more on the use of natural resources and nature-based tourism for their livelihoods. The reduced socio-ecological resilience due to climate change, coupled with the impact of COVID-19 on the wildlife sector, have made it more imperative to diversify sources of livelihoods for communities coexisting with.
Right. Please come under the tent and see if we can't fit in, or let's see how much we can fit, or how many of us can fit in there. Okay, thank you for cooperation. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Right, I also then invite the Amitofo Care Center to be just on standby as the minister comes. Before he sits, we all stand, we sing our national and AU anthems, and then we get started. So, Amitofo Care Center for the singing of the national and AU anthem, just to be ready as well, as you have prepared. Okay, let's get ready. Are you going to be here singing national anthem? Eh? Okay. Hmm? Yeah. Okay, but we'll give you a key. Thank you. Yeah, just wait. Yeah. All right. Help me welcome our minister responsible for the portfolio of tourism. He's just arrived, and may we please stand, and then for the singing of a national and AU anthems together. Thank you, Honorable Minister. Everyone stands, please. Thank you. Let's remain standing for the singing of the national and AU anthems. Thank you. You may be seated. Thank you, Omitofo Care Center. They look beautiful, representing the diversity of our culture. Thank you, Amitofo, for leading us in the singing of the national AU anthems. Well, good afternoon, Namibia, for those that are following online and for those that are present. We want to recognize, of course, the presence of our minister responsible for the portfolio of tourism, environment, and forestry, Honorable Pohamba Shifeta, who's in our presence, who's our keynote speaker. Thank you so much for being present with us. The Deputy Minister responsible again for tourism in absentia. Thank you for joining us. I see Councillor Joseph Wapingene, Deputy Mayor for the City of Windhoek. Thank you as well, Honorable Councillor, for joining us at this platform. Your Excellencies, Ambassadors, Higher Commissioners from the CASA member states that are present here, I noticed Angola is present here. Thank you so much. The representative from Angola is here. Thank you so much. I want as well to also acknowledge the presence of Dr. Nyambe, who is responsible for the CASA Secretariat CEO. Thank you for being with us. Of course, our own experts in the industry, the NTB board. I see the chairperson here and other board members that are present here. I see the association, FENATA, HAN, and all the associates that are present here. I see managers here, CEOs, of course, LB Bota, the CEO of NMH. Thank you for hosting us and for continuing with the Tourism Expo. And all other dignitaries that are present here, we indeed welcome you and everyone else who's following online. Our meeting here is Tourism Expo 2024, where we gather as an industry, of course, to speak about issues of tourism, to exhibit what is happening in the industry, services, and all other products. So our program will be short, probably an hour, 30 minutes, just to continue as an official part. But then the show will continue. Thank you for exhibitors. Thank you for other invited guests. Thank you for the media, that are present here. Please feel at home, be with us, and follow the progress that we're going to make today in the official opening. So next on the program, we'd like to welcome Councillor Joseph Wapingene, Deputy Mayor, City of Windhoek, to give us his opening remarks. Please help me to welcome him on the podium with a clap of hand.
Here comes the most important day in the man's life.
Good very afternoon. Director of Ceremony, Sepulon Shikalu. Honorable Minister Pohamba Shifeta, Minister of Environment, Forestry and Tourism, and other members of Parliament present. Honorable Ethia Sibungu, Deputy Minister of Environment, Forestry and Tourism, Your Excellencies, Ambassadors and High Commissioners from the Kavango Sabesi Your Excellencies, Ambassadors and High Commissioners from the Kavango Sabesi Trans-Frontier Park, members, countries, and other countries present, Mr. Alpe Bota, Group Executive, Chief Executive Officer, Namibia Media Holding, and your team, Board and Management of Namibia Tourism Board, and recognized Mr. Benzo, the Acting CEO. Federation of Namibian Tourism Association, Executive President, Dr. Nyambe, Chief Executive Officer of CASA Secretariat and Guest Speaker, Management of the Ministry of Environment, Forestry and Tourism, custodians of the tourism industry, distinguished invited guests, exhibitors, members of media, ladies and gentlemen. It is with great pleasure that I welcome you to the 25th Tourism Expo, which takes place every year. The event is hosted by the Namibia Media Holdings and serves as a networking platform for the tourism sector. It is also an opportunity to attract new businesses and keep abreast of new trends in the market. The theme for the 5-year, which started last year, is Beyond Borders. And this year, the focus is on CASA, the Kavango Sabesi Trans-Frontier Park. The aim is for the CASA member states of Angola, Botswana, Namibia, Zambia, and Zimbabwe to start marketing these destinations as one. To the Honorable Pohamba Shifeta, Minister of Environment and Tourism, and Honorable Eita Chipungo, Deputy Minister of Environment, Forestry and Tourism, it is an honor to welcome you to this occasion. Your Excellencies, Ambassadors, and High Commissioners from the Kavango Sabesi Trans Frontiers Park, members, countries, and other countries present, you are most welcome. And we look forward to engaging with you during the course of the day of today's event as exploring areas of mutual interest. To Mr. Albert Bota, Group Chief Executive Officer, Namibia Media Holding, welcome. Your commitment to the promoting government initiative by the Namibian Tourism Board and hosting this event is mostly appreciated. To the executive of FENATA, your presence here is much appreciated. To Mr. Benzo, Acting Chief Executive Officer, Namibia Tourism Board, I extend a warm welcome to you and encourage you to continue innovating and promoting our country. Dr. Nyambe Nyambe, Chief Executive Officer of the Kavango Sabesi Trans Frontier Conservation, Area Kaza Secretariat, and our guest speaker for today, you are most welcome as the strategic partner in conservation efforts within the tourism sector, aimed at uplifting the living standard of the peoples living in the remote areas. I also welcome the management of the Ministry of Environment, Forestry and Tourism, the distinguished captains and tourism industry, the exhibitors present here today, and especially from the CASA countries. To our distinguished invited guests, members of the media, ladies and gentlemen, please receive a warm welcome to this exciting event today. As a dynamic and growing sector of the economy, tourism provides opportunities and presents challenges, particularly for local government. As one of the providers and managers of infrastructures and services so often utilized by visitors as well as residents. As the guardian of the showroom, local government often plays an important role in enhancing an overall visitors' experience. Therefore, it is important to understand the issues this presents. The City of Windhoek, with the approval of the Sustainable Tourism Strategy in 2022, has put strategies in place to outline possible institutional arrangement that can help resolve communication and alignment concern in terms of the strategic planning of tourism activities at the local level. Implementation of tourism activities in local areas requires interaction with other phases of government and private sector's players. We need to take cognizance of the complex relationship and assist between municipality and tourism agencies and between municipalities and the regional councils. In this context, platforms should be created for engagement and collaboration where comparable tools and approaches can be utilized to enhance discussions around tourism planning. Municipality exerts great influence over the social and economic well-being of local communities through traditional responsibilities, such as service delivery and enforcement of bylaws. We are therefore to ensure that overall economy and social conditions of the destination are conducive to the creation of employment opportunities. As providers of social services, builders of economic infrastructures, regulator of economic activities, and managers of the regional environment, local government has many direct instruments to influence the tourist of local tourism development. Local government has many instruments to influence the direction of the local development. As they say, tourism does not operate in isolation. And due to its multiplied efforts, it is a joint responsibility of local government with the private sector. It is predominantly a private sector business within public sector's facilities, services, and amenities are complementary to success tourism. I am reliably informed that we are to to host a few international events such as Africa Hospitality Investment Forum, the Premier Tourism and Hotel Investment Conference in Africa, attracting prominent international hotels owners, investors, financiers, management companies and advisors, scheduled to take place in Namibia from the 25th to the 27th of June 2024 at the Movenpick and Matured Hotel in Windhoek. The Aviate Desk Africa, the leading platform dedicated to enhancing connectivity to form and within the African continent, to be hosted by the Namibian Airports Company in June 2024. I'm also informed that this annual forum will bring together influential stakeholders, including airlines, airports, tourism boards, government officials, and industrial experts to foster collaboration, forge strategic partnership, and explore opportunities that will deliver new air routes across Africa. As we engage each other this afternoon, let us remember that beyond the altar of the city's rich history, vibrant culture, and a breathtaking landscape lies something truly special: the warmth and the hospitality of our people. Let us all commit to enhance our visitors' experience, invest in infrastructures, and promote sustainable tourism practices that preserves the beauty and the integrity of our destinations for generations to come. Lastly, to all the travelers, enthusiasts, inventors, and seekers of a new experience, I extended a heartfelt invitation to explore all our city has to offer, and equally invite you to join the city of Windhoek, the Windhoek Nike Arts and Cultural Festival taking place on the 26th and 27th of April at the city of Windhoek Upper Parking. Come and experience a vibrant showcase of art, music, dance, and cuisine from Namibia and beyond. As I conclude, allow me to also leave you with these words from the book of Hebrews 13 verse 2. Do not forget to show hospitality to strangers, for by so doing, some people have shown hospitality to angels without knowing it. Let us always treat our guests, visitors, and residents with references, for they are our ambassadors to the rest of the world. May the exposition be a fruitful gathering for us, and all may be, and may you all feel welcome, and I thank you.
Councillor Joseph Wapingene, the Deputy Mayor of City of Windhoek, thank you so much. And we are impressed that the city, we're speaking about tourism, and I think it is a joint effort, it's a joint sector that we can grow together. We really appreciate that. The planning that you are doing that enhances tourism, the invitation that you are extending for the event that's coming, and also the readiness of the city to welcome more events that's coming. We appreciate those sentiments and the welcoming remarks. So next on the program, I also recognize we're supposed to have the Permanent Secretary from the Ministry of Environment, Tourism, Zimbabwe. I'm not sure whether they have arrived. Thank you as well. Help me just welcome him as well. Thank you. If there's any other country, please let me know as well, those that has arrived and have not announced. Yeah, I know there's a brother in the industry from Kenya is here. Thank you, Barry, for being here as well. Yeah, next on the program really is now that we have been welcomed, I would like to welcome our guest speaker, Dr. Nyambe Nyambe, the CEO of CASA Secretariat, also to share his remarks and address the issues of CASA. Yeah, thank you. Please help me welcome him to the podium. Yeah. It's hot, but it's okay. We can still sustain. It's still Africa.
Good afternoon. I feel really very warmly welcomed. Deputy Mayor, thank you for the welcome. Director of Ceremonies, allow me to recognize the presence of the Honorable Minister, Minister of Environment, Forestry and Tourism, Honorable Shfeta, the members of the Diplomatic Corps present, and other various dignitaries, the board of Namibia Tourism Organization, management, the CEO of Namibia Holdings, Mr. Bota, and his team, the captains of the industry, as well as the various colleagues who've been working behind the scenes for us to see what we are seeing today and the next few days. There's been a lot of hard work in the background. Allow me to recognize you and thank you very much for this. And indeed, maybe just allow me to say all protocol observed. Director of Ceremonies, Honorable Minister, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I think for an event of this nature to be taking place 25 years in a row is not a mean achievement. This is because of the collaboration that exists between the private sector and government. And congratulations. I feel greatly privileged and honored to speak before you all this afternoon. This is an important event that celebrates and showcases Namibia's globally admired tourism strides under the theme Beyond Borders. To have been invited and to speak as a guest speaker reminds me that this theme is actually very much aligned to the mantra that we use at the CASA Transfrontier Conservation Area Secretariat, which is tourism without boundaries. Honorable Minister, allow me to say that the vision that you couched with your colleagues, your counterparts from the CASA partner states, has tourism anchored within. And let me just read this vision for everybody's appreciation, particularly to our visitors. To establish a world-class transfrontier conservation tourism destination in the Okavango and Zambezi River basins of Angola, Botswana, Namibia, Zambia, and Zimbabwe within the context of sustainable development. I loosely translate this vision statement as an acknowledgement of the unique tourism assets, including the transboundary and opportunities related to tourism as the basis for establishing a globally competitive tourism destination. As guided by the CASA vision, and indeed, the Deputy Mayor made this point, the design and planning of conservation and tourism initiatives is key. And when it comes to tourism, this has to be done within the context of sustainability. We don't want to lose that which we have. In this context, tourism planning and management should ensure that tourism contributes to development goals by providing jobs. When we meet with the honorable ministers and senior officials, this is a very clear statement. Are we providing jobs? And resource protection, as well as ensuring that this is done through competitiveness, sustainability, and inclusion. Our local communities ought to be at the center of everything. In practical terms, this means that all development and conservation initiatives including those related to tourism, have to be socially, environmentally, and economically sustainable. To this end, CASA partner states are keen on smart investments in the tourism sector, capitalizing on the natural, cultural, and heritage resources which are the bedrock of the landscape's tourism offerings by ensuring the following, amongst others: maximizing the development of resources that unlock the value of their natural assets and cultural heritage resources, promotion of wildlife, conservation, and sustainable development by combating illicit trafficking and other natural resources in wildlife and other natural resources, and investing in tourism. Equitable agreements that benefit communities, because growth in the tourism sector ought to help economic development and beneficiation for the communities. Now, a journey through CASA takes you places more than words can describe. The opportunities for tourism across borders are unimaginable. From the Miombo woodlands of Quito Carnaval in Angola and the southern part of the very important resource wholly embedded in the Republic of Angola, the water towers, which feed the Zambezi, Quito, Kunene, Okavango, and other river systems, all the way to the shores of Lake Kariba in Zimbabwe, and the 19 national parks that you find within, more than 80 forest reserves, more than 100 game management areas, more than 20 conservancies. These are just part of the resources that you get within CASA. I've not mentioned Okavango Delta, I've not mentioned Sodilo Hills or Victoria Falls, which are draw cards, but very important World Heritage Sites. I've not mentioned, and allow me to mention, the 3 Ramsar sites, wetlands of international significance, that you get in CASA. And I think I'll be fired if I didn't mention the one challenge that we have and great opportunity. Savannah elephant population, 50% in CASA. And this was, again, recently proven by the CASA-wide aerial survey that we undertook. Various endangered and threatened species, including no less than 25% of the lion population on the continent, about 40% of the cheetah population, and more than 600 bird species. But CASA is not CASA without people. It's a coexistence landscape. The culture and heritage of the people that you find in CASA is amazing. Key part of the tourism offerings. So with this said, maybe the question can be asked, what is it that the partner states are doing with regards to the promotion of tourism across borders? Quite a lot, and especially in the last 18 months, I must admit. But also very important to note that beyond borders tourism in CASA has been going on for a long time, but a lot still needs to be done to make it more competitive, sustainable, and beneficial. Some recent developments related to the theme of this Expo, Director of Ceremonies, include the development of the transboundary tourism products like the CASA birding routes. The joint protocols such as the Kwanduli Nyanti Chobe River Code of Conduct, an initiative which once implemented will improve coordination in various aspects between the republics of Botswana and Namibia in that shared watercourse. Initiative to improve experiences of tourists in their travels across the landscape, such as the CASA Univisa, and also the development of infrastructure. I was in Angola in January this year, and a major development is going to happen in Angola in the CASA component. More than $100 million investments in terms of infrastructure to support the tourism agenda. Allow me, Director of Ceremonies, to speak about the one point that Councillor made. How can we jointly market CASA as a single destination? Like I mentioned earlier, tourism is at the heart of the CASA vision, But in 2019, the honorable ministers gave a directive that CASA partner states ought to develop a single destination brand for CASA. I'm happy to say that this exercise has been undertaken and the launch of the destination brand is quite imminent. And alongside this process has been a number of initiatives such as international tour operator familiarizations, tour operator familiarization trips at the regional and international levels, press trip, and also speed marketing initiatives, and something that we've never done as CASA Secretariat before, we've recently done, which is the development of the Uncover CASA microsites, where no less than 80 private sector operators have already registered to profile their work in CASA across the 5 partner states. So for the private sector operating in CASA here today, there are some immediate opportunities for your consideration in terms of engagement, joining the CASA bidding route and profiling on the microsite that I just mentioned. With the above initiatives, Director of Ceremonies, CASA is entering an exciting new phase in the promotion of the landscape as a single tourism destination. And you can count on the Secretariat that we are also going to join and rally the call that the Deputy Mayor just made, how we can leverage the capacity, influence, and mandate of our local authorities within the CASA landscape to promote tourism and conservation and take it to greater heights. I thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Nyambe Nyambe, CEO of CASA Secretariat. There we have CASA. Great opportunities that are there that we need to explore as private sector. You have heard it yourselves and all other players. So CASA is there, and we just need to get in there in terms of commercializing the activities so that we can start doing the tourism business in there. Thank you, Dr. Nyambe Nyambe, for sharing the CASA journey and also the opportunities and equally the progress in terms of work that you have achieved. Thank you for that support and continue to do the great job that you're doing at CASA Secretariat. Right, next I have a performance by Amitofo Care Center. Thank you. Yeah, there we have it from Amitofo Care Center. I think we can clap hands better than we did for them. They did a great job. Thank you, youngsters. Thank you, youngsters, for promoting the culture, of our people and showing the diversity of our nation. Thank you. For those that are tuned in, probably online or otherwise, we are gathered here at the official opening of the 2024 Tourism Expo at the Country Club and Resort. So next on the program, it is Namibia's tourism performance, but focus on Kaza. That will be delivered by my colleague, Mr. Bonventure Binzo, the acting CEO of NTB, just to see how far we are in terms of the Kaza as performance of the country. Comrade Binzo, please come and deliver the presentation. Thank you. Help me as well welcome him to the podium.
Director of Ceremonies, Director of Tourism, Seblon Chikalu, my brother, Honorable Minister of Tourism, Minister Pohamba Chifeta, Your Excellencies, and the Ambassador of Zimbabwe, Her Excellency Melody Chaura, Councillor, Deputy Mayor of the City of Windhoek, the hosts, Mr. Bota, CEO of NMH, our board of the chairperson of the board of directors for Namibia Tourism Board, Madam Janet Fori, and other board members, the founding CEO of Namibia Tourism Board, Tate Gideon Shilongo, your presence is recognized, members of the media, and those other dignitaries I have not mentioned. Forgive me if I have not mentioned you by name. The private sector, you are the reason why we are here, and thank you so much for gracing this period. My topic is very clear. I'm going to give a snapshot of what the CASA has been able to do in terms of statistics, and I'm going to read through my prepared speech. It is with great honor and pride that I stand before you today to shed light on the remarkable arrival statistics from the CASA countries into Namibia. Over the years, we have witnessed an extraordinary surge in numbers arriving from the CASA countries, the 5 countries mentioned before. That's from Angola, Botswana, Zambia, and Zimbabwe. Allow me to share some of the compelling statistics that underscore the remarkable growth we have experienced over the years. During the 2021-2022 financial period or year, we recorded an astonishing 4,073% increase tourists arriving from Angola, 109% tourists arriving from Botswana, and just above 52% tourists arriving from Zambia. This is a key factor that have got contributed so much into the communities in which these figures are represented. Allow me, Director of Ceremonies, to underscore the importance of tourism as was illustrated by Dr. Nyambe, that there is a human factor in the tourism sector within the CASA. Before this gathering, I had a chat with Dr. Nyambe, and he was telling me, and he emphasized that it is not only the conservation and it is not only the animals, it is the people and the heritage. As you just have seen from Omitofo children, that there is indeed an appetite to embrace our culture, an appetite to make sure that our cultural heritage is promoted. And it is indeed interesting to see that young people, as they are, in most of our homesteads, most kids now, they have even forgotten to speak their vernacular languages. And we are at threat on that. But Omitofo has proven otherwise. We firmly believe that similar arrangements between CASA, countries such as Angola, Zambia, and Zimbabwe, hold potential for tourism and for the nations by promoting cross-border tourism and by eliminating bureaucratic hurdles and enhancing overall experience for travelers. We can collaboratively and collectively promote the CASA and ensure that our citizens within the CASA benefit from what the tourism has to offer. Director of Ceremonies, allow me to illustrate that the recently launched route by Fly Namibia from Windhoek to Victoria Falls on the 4th of April is a further testimony that private sector investment in the tourism sector is crucial. You will recall, Director of Ceremonies, that Discover Airline has got flights from Windhoek connecting these 2 destinations, and by doing so, promoting what the country has to offer within the CASA region. It is not only the cultural heritage, but as Dr. Nyambe has illustrated, it is what the region can offer. As a treaty where our honorable ministers have contributed and committed our member states to make sure that CASA remains and CASA becomes our heritage going forward. I think we should give an applause to our ministers for coming up with that treaty. By actively engaging in these events and more to come, Namibia Tourism Board awareness about Namibia tourism as a destination, helping to attract more investors and more travelers to the destination is what Namibia Tourism Board is going to be doing, and exactly what Dr. Nyambe has illustrated, that we need a collaborative approach on how we are going to promote the destination together, all the member states. In conclusion, Director of Ceremonies and Honorable Minister Pohamba Shifeta, these statistics, as I indicated in the beginning, tells us that by working together, we can harness this momentum by creating and making sure that we have got a sustainable tourism that benefits all stakeholders. Let us continue together in this collaborative venture, innovate together, and promote Kaza region as a destination of unparalleled beauty, adventure, and cultural diversity. I thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Acting CEO, NTB, Mr. Binto, for just sharing that statistics. And I think it shows that tourism is coming back, but also from the regional point of view. Angola with so many percentage in terms of increase or growth. I think it's Zambia that you've mentioned, and Zimbabwe and Botswana as well. And I think, yeah, that's what Kaza can provide, can also promote the integration and also the regional tourism. Yeah, so tourism is a business. It's not just an activity, as an economic activity, so it's business. I was trying to delay the time so that then by the time I call on the keynote speaker, the sun has set. But I think the sun is delaying to set. So now, so now, Honourable Minister, you have to forgive me that I'll have just invite you to be in the beautiful heat of the country, Namibia. So our next speaker, our keynote speaker, our Honourable Minister, Honourable Pohamba Shifeta, has need no introduction to this country and to the tourism fraternity. We know his love for the promotion of conservation, of course, in coexistence with tourism. We know the efforts that is putting through. Tourism is surviving because of your support, Honourable Minister, because of your vision, Honourable Minister. So please help me welcome our keynote speaker, who is Honourable Pohamba Shifeta, Minister of Environment, Forestry and Tourism, to the podium to deliver the keynote address. If we may rise, please, as we always do it, that will be perfect.
Thank you very much. Please get seated, those who can. Some they're busy doing their thing, so I don't want to burden them. Director of Ceremonies, who's also a Director of Tourism, the Ministry of Environment, Forest and Tourism. I know you put me under this severe heat. I'm already worried and jet-lagged. Just arrived from abroad, and I have to hit the ground running. Our Deputy Mayor of the City of Windhoek, Excellencies, members of Diplomatic Corps present here, especially from the Kaza member state, as well as other countries present here. I recognize some of them here. CEO of Namibia Media Holdings and our team, our CEO of Kaza Secretariat and our guest speaker at this very event, Acting CEO of NTB and also the chairperson of NTB and the team, our ministries officials and also government officials present here, custodians and stakeholders of the tourism industry, our esteemed invited guests present here, as per your titles and the respective qualities, members of the media, artists, cultural groups who are here, and the musicians, ladies and gentlemen, I'm very much honored to be here this morning, or this afternoon rather. It is very important occasion, opening of the 24th Tourism Expo, organized by Namibia Media Holdings. We celebrate the Tourism Expo in 2024 under the theme Beyond Borders, with a great emphasis on the optimization of the unfolding tourism economic opportunities in the Kavango, Zambezi tourism areas, especially the transfrontier conservation areas. In this regard, we are joined by colleagues and stakeholders in the tourism sector from neighboring countries such as Angola, Botswana, Zambia, and Zimbabwe. Welcome to Namibia. Although Kaza is mainly situated in the Okavango and Zambezi River basins, where the borders of the 5 countries converge on the Namibian side, however, this includes other river systems, namely the Rinyandi-Kwando river systems, Zambezi-Chobe floodplain, of which ecosystems enrich the quality of our visitors to experience and also to increase the value of money for the tourism offering in this area. Moreover, Kaza provides enormous economic opportunities to the rural communities and the youth within the Kaza region to establish community-based tourism enterprises for economic benefits. In my opinion, Kavango Zambezi Transfrontier Conservation Area is a tourism destination that provides a significant economic link and a hub for building robust ecological systems and sustainable tourism economy to benefit the people of our 5 countries. The Ministry of Environment, Forest and Tourism would like to invite the tourism operators to promote, market, and continue to develop new tourist routes, services, and products in Kaza area to attract more visitors and increase tourism economic activities in our region. I further urge the Namibian tourism sector, the youth, especially, and the communities, to play its part and eventually absorb business opportunities within the Kaza area. Tourism is one of the prioritized sectors in our national development plans, as well as our Harambee prosperity plans. Tourism is recognized in these plans as a significant contributor to the generation of foreign exchange earnings, investments, revenue, employment creation, rural development, poverty eradication, and to the growth of the country's national economy. Tourism in Namibia is a large industry, directly contributing 60.9% of the GDP, or above 14.3 billion in monetary value. The total direct employment by tourism-related industries stands at 57,277 people, which translates to 7.9% of total employment in 2022, as revealed by our 2022 Namibia Tourist Statistics Satellite account report. I am informed that many entities have benefited as a result of hosting of this expo. In many ways, they have increased their bookings at their accommodation establishment. It is therefore imperative to state that the 2024 tourism exposition continues to add value to the sector by creating an enabling opportunity for our exhibitors to showcase their services and products, and also making sure that they attract more tourists or visitors to this very important event, that is Tourism Expo event. Furthermore, the Tourism Expo creates much needed awareness of the importance of the tourism economy and its positive multiplier effect and economic linkage to other many sectors. Director of Ceremonies in Namibia, tourism-related industries include accommodation services, transport services, food and beverage services, travel agencies and other reservation agencies, transport equipment rental services, cultural services, and sport and recreational services, among others. The Ministry of Environment, Tourism, and Forest and Tourism remains committed to its mandate to create enabling environment for doing business in the sector and improve economic performance in as far as to increase its direct and indirect contribution to our national economy. Also to create much needed employment and business opportunities in the country. Additionally, the ministry will continue to initiate policies, especially to intervene and they also come up with strategies to promote the participation of previously disadvantaged Namibians in tourism, especially women, youth, vulnerable groups, previously marginalized groups, traditional communities resettled outside the national parks through concessions and also conservancies and other forms of ownership that we can allow our communities to participate. And we have done that, especially this previous 5 years, we've been awarding concessions to communities. And I think the public do not understand when between a concessionaire and a concession operator. And we've been doing well so far. So much job created. The director of tourism is here, can tell you, can attest to that. And what people don't understand is that when we have taken a decision, and I made that decision to say, no concession will be given just like that, unless it's unsolicited, and that unsolicited has to go through a committee, a concession committee, and has to meet the requirements of qualification before it's recommended to the minister to approve that. Now, when it's unsolicited, we try to create competition among our players in the industry. That you must come up with a unique idea that is not in Namibia before, idea that can attract more visitors to Namibia, and then that can be conditionally given, granted to you, provided that you fulfill those conditions. But we invite people still to come up with unsolicited those ideas, unique ideas, so that they can get that. But apart from that, if you don't have unique ideas, we want people to think in the industry. We want people to, mind bonga, and they start mind bongering and they start coming out very unique ideas so that they can attract more of our visitors to Namibia. Now, apart from that, any concession that's given, if it's not given to community, that a minister can award to community, but still has to go through a concession committee, and the concession committee recommend that it must go for public tender. And when people were crying, Minister, this and that, just to friends, when he said, no, now things have to go to tender. And for this couple of 5 years, I refuse to have anything like that just given that way. So everything has begun getting to tender. And we get out of that. We had successful bidders who are putting up very standard structures from private sector. And you want them to play a role everywhere, not only outside the parks, even inside the parks, so that we can create competition. And you can see how wonderful this has been happening. I have been saying we have failed already. When we started as a government building lodges, we are not in the business of building lodges. We cannot operate them. We cannot. We must be able to give to the private or even state-owned if they are ready to do so, provided they upper their standards. I've been complaining about this because to our own state-owned enterprises, except this one as well. This one is doing well. Country Club is doing well. One of them doing well, paying dividends doesn't burden the government coffers at all. They are doing well. They pay dividends. Even during COVID, they never come to government to bail them out. They had already reserves. And that they have been doing well because I have been telling them, pull up your socks. It's no longer time of giving money to commercial entities owned by the state. It's a waste of money. And we're putting so billions. And it's just in an open pit. Nothing comes out. So much input, no output. I have given them, even NWR, I said, when I've appointed the board in 2016, I gave them a task. If you don't fulfill your mandate, then there's no need for you to exist. There's no way that you come here to borrow money anymore. Do something. They have done wonders. By that time, they have, for the first time since the inception, 1998, the director was part of the management there, so he can attest to that. They have never declared dividends. They have never made profit. But I said, there's no way. If you want your existence, you must be able to make money, make profit. You are not a Red Cross. You are not a Company 21. You must make money. And if you don't make money, I cannot go and say, I think I have an entity that needs money all the time. It's an embarrassing approach. If you have, as a minister, I have to go, no, they need money. Now, I cannot explain what happened to every time the shareholder capitalizing, but nothing is coming out. So what I'm saying here, our entities owned by the state must be at the pair of others who are private owned. If you have if there's a private lodge there, just few meters, and the entity owned by the state, the standard must be the same. I'm tired of being called, we came here in Etosha, there's no running water, there's no what, the beds are so small, the things. You must look at the lodges that are there. The competition is open. Doesn't mean that when you are in the park, you can now disappoint clients, because I'm the one getting all these blames all the time. And when I get this, I have to pour my frustrations to those entities. And they must upper their standards. And what I'm saying is that all of us, whether private owned or public owned, we must up our standard in the industry. And that's what we want. And I'm happy what happened recently. As I said, we have stopped in the industry building lodges. We have been really not doing well with that. I can tell you, maybe people only know about Zambezi waterfront. That is a very much spoken. There are many that were built and they are lying idle for many years. I found them there when I've been in the ministry now for more than 12 years. I found them there, they are still lying idle. It's a waste of money. Now we say we go for tender, If we give a concession, if a concession is owned by the community, who is to operate? The government cannot put money there because we cannot operate them. So what you have to do is to go for public tender, invite an operator. There's a difference between a concessionaire who owns the concession, the owner of the concession, and the operator. Operator is to invest money there, and the community get their shares every month or every year, whatever agreement is there, and the employment is created there. That's how there's a difference. Operator is different, and we have done that. You see, so many of them, I cannot mention all of them, but the very last, I think, lodge that is very, very up to standard, the one that is King Nhale, is owned by the community. And we have done exactly the same way, going to public tendering, and then everybody has done what's supposed to do, make submission of their proposals, business proposals, attractive proposals. We must go for that. And then you pick the best. And that best, and I think for now some people do not know that ministers are not involved in tendering. Only get recommendation. And for me to say no to a recommendation from a tender committee, I might be taken to court. So I must just look at the procedures followed. To me, is to look at before I agree, before I approve that, and if the procedures were correct and everything was done rightfully and legally, there's no way I can reserve my decision. Because if I see that it was done that way, I must approve it, and the right person must get. And you have a time to develop that. If you don't develop, you can terminate the contract. So the bigger investment you are putting in, the more years. You cannot give somebody to put up a 300 million investment and now we want 5 years or 10 years. You must agree on at least of somebody to get out a retrieve or to get his returns of investment, and eventually then come back to the community, because the community owns that. And we have agreed that the communities, what they have to do is make sure that they have understudies in the management of operating that establishment. And after the lapse of that contract, after the termination of that contract, automatic termination of that contract, they should now opt as a community, whether they are ready to operate on themselves or they can still go with that one, or they will then invite or call us to go for tender, public tender. That's how the arrangement should be. So we want to create that kind of competition in the industry, and it's doing well. It's doing well. So now when you see those lodges, Solesoles, very expensive one. I went there last time. I was told the room is 10,000 per night. I couldn't sleep there. Cannot afford 10,000 per night, but it's always booked fully by tourists because it's close to the Brandberg, and because of that, I think it attracts more. It's owned by the Solesoles Conservancy, but operated by a private. So there are many. Surrounding Etosha, we have given many, all these communities conservancies, starting from King Nhale, Ipumbe ya Chirongo, Shea Shushona, Kolongadi, Ukwaludi, you go to Ehiro Vipuka, you come to Haikoms. Haikoms, we bought farms so that we can give them concessions. They got concessions now. We went for public tender. All of this, they went to public tender. Nothing will be given just like that. People should stop lying, telling the public that minister picked anyone. They must come and ask me where. And I know exactly minister don't get involved in tender. Tendering system is a complete legally process driven. You cannot go there. There must be procedures. And you are given time to challenge if you have a problem. Challenge that. I always tell people not to complain afterward, and there is an opportunity to challenge so that you can even appeal. There's an opportunity there. Please let us also respect other people. The other people are working hard, and now because you are lazy, you can't work hard, you want to frustrate other people. No, we don't go for that. I take decisions, and I'm someone who doesn't fear taking decisions. As long as I know that what I do is legally correct and morally right, I take decisions in the interest of the public. So now with that, I want us to enjoy this tourism expositions. Those who are showcasing their products and services, do so. I hope we'll attract more visitors coming to see what we do in the industry. And I want us to do so. CASA is very important for these 5 countries. For those who did not visit that area, please do and see what we have, what you have, the natural capital that is there. And I was challenging our officials, sometimes you need to have a natural capital account. And just, some people come here and say, no, I invested so much amount, but in the conservancy, but so you invested 200 million. But if you go for monetary term in natural capital that is there, the natural capital that is there, the value, it can be a billion. So who has much? So I think I want us to start visiting that area and see the beauty of Africa, see the beauty of SADC. It is there. I don't know whether it is the CEO of CASA Secretariat who mentioned this about the savanna elephants. Population of the savanna elephant, the largest population of savanna elephant is found in CASA, the 5 countries. It's found there. It's found in Angola, Botswana, Namibia, Zambia, and Zimbabwe. And you can imagine that the elephants we have, we are talking about elephants that is close to 400,000 just in that area. Namibia, we have about 25,000 to 30,000, because elephants, animals like this, the wild animals, they don't need passport. They have a Univisa. So they can go, today they are in Botswana, and tomorrow Zambia. But those that are residents there, we count. And we establish that we have so much, and much of them are there. Much of the elephants. Imagine the herd of 100 elephants coming, burdening your area. And we must really, really thank communities in the CASA area that they have tolerated these animals. Living with a lot of elephants, very destructive animals. It's not easy. Buffaloes, they gave up, some of them, they gave up any other form of land use just for wildlife. It's not easy. They can no longer cultivate. Some of them can no longer look after animals because there are also big cats there. That they don't know who owns what. They own everything. Because in the forest, they own everything. And that's what we, as human beings, we don't respect. Animals, they own everything in their habitat. So we encroach their habitat, they challenge us. Then we hunt their games, especially the big cats. They will follow you. They will also come and they retaliate. They come to your kraal because you have eaten their meat. So we must respect them. We must not hunt games in those areas so that these big cats, they don't follow us and start snitching our livestock. I want to talk about heritage. Cultural heritage is very important and something that we really need to look at in our CASA area. We have so much when it comes to cultural heritage in CASA. A human being and cultural heritage. There's this very inextricable link between a human being and his or her cultural heritage, that you cannot separate them. Because all of us to develop, we need to know our heritage. All of us. You can't develop if you don't know where you came from. That's why we need to respect that, and we want all our entities in the industry to really look into this and start developing products into this cultural heritage. With that, let me thank you all for coming here to this very important event. Although the sun tortured me here, I thank you for that. Where I've been, I needed this for my skin to revitalize a bit. Thank you very much, and all the best.
Thank you. You may be seated. Thank you, Honorable Minister. I think we have heard it in terms of the speech, the focus, and what he wants us to, how he wants us to appreciate the Casa, and then the tourism product in the heritage or the culture. So thank you, Honorable Minister, for that keynote address. Next is a performance by Amitofo Care Center. I see them I think they've changed their attire. They have now become, I don't know, is it Kung Fu Masters or Karate Masters, one of those. So let's see what they have for us in store. We have Kung Fu masters. We have Kung Fu masters. The generation after Bruce Lee. We remember that character. Thank you so much. Amitofo Care Center doing a great job. I think what you are doing now already, I think you're going to do much more greater things as you grow up and as you continue. Thank you for your performance. May I now invite Mr. Albi Bota, the Group CEO of NMH, to give us a vote of thanks.
Thank you. They say you get set up every now and again, and I think I've been set up this afternoon. After the speech of the Honourable Minister and the passion at which he spoke, I knew I was in trouble. But after I saw Bruce Lee's Next Generation, my superhero when I was their age, never thought I'd see him in living memory, which I did today. So thank you, team. I know I'm in trouble. But allow me just a couple of words. Firstly, this is our 25th annual Tourism Award, Tourism Expo. As said earlier, it's an achievement to stick around for 25 years. We had 1 year where we skipped because of COVID. I think we were the only event in the entire world for 1 year when it wasn't COVID in the year 2020 itself. But allow me to thank the following people. First and foremost, my friend, Honourable Shifeta. Thank you so much for your leadership. You are truly my minister. And I do belong to the media industry, I think, but you are my minister. Thank you for your leadership. Thank you for your passion for the growth that you follow in your strategies with the help of NTB and your ministry itself to make sure that this industry that I personally love as well, that I personally believe is a solution to our country's unemployment, keeping communities together, keeping development at the communities. Thank you so much. To Deputy Mayor Wipeni, the city of Windhoek is now my city. It took me a long time. I come from a wonderful place called Tsumeb, and in the year 2006, I finally said city of Windhoek is my city. Thank you for allowing us to be 25 years at this wonderful city to do the Tourism Expo. Today will be an announcement of how we go forward as well. And our heart will stay in the city of Windhoek and will continue with the Tourism Expo in the city of Windhoek. But we are expanding. They say diplomacy is the language of the world. And it's no more true than in the industry when it gets to tourism. So thank you, Your Excellencies, ambassadors and high commissioners here today. Tourism is the language we can speak in the world of diplomacy to try and find common solutions where too much media coverage is given to the world of wars and too little coverage is given to the world of tourism. So thank you today, spending time once again with us to celebrate that commonality in the world of diplomacy called tourism. I really appreciate your presence here today. Dr. Yambe, I've met very few people in my life that speaks the passion that you have today around Gaza. Gaza is in good hands. Thank you for sharing that passion once again. And quote me, it is the most beautiful place on the living earth. Thank you for keeping it safe. Let's give him a round of applause. Ms. Fourie, the chairman of NTB, thank you for marketing this land of the brave, this beautiful country called Namibia. I know sometimes it's difficult. I know sometimes funds are difficult. It's a challenging industry to work with. You work with very passionate people who've got their own ideas. But yet, right now, I do believe Namibia, from a tourism perspective, is the brand of the world. Thank you, NTB, for doing that. Mr. Webbowen, an entire tourism industry. If there's one industry in this country that represents passion, it's the tourism industry. And with your leadership, allowing this industry to build, not just to build an industry, but to do that very important thing called creating jobs. Without job creation, GDP, and I'm an accountant by profession, means nothing. We must measure growth in the form of job creation. Without that, and yes, I do believe profit is part of the strategy, but profit makes no sense if job creation isn't part of it. Members of the media, thank you for keeping this nation informed. I think we must be one of the most well-informed nations in the world. And then, and I apologize for using these words in front of the Honourable Minister, but allow me to use them. The most important people here today, Michelle and everybody else, may I say thank you for making this event for the 25th time possible. So allow me to call forward, for the first time I think in the 10 years, 11 years that I have at this Tourism Expo, for calling forward a couple of people. And I apologize, I know we're running out of time. But I'd like to call forward first and foremost Michelle and just hand over something very special to her. Just publicly acknowledging her input for the last 10 years. Thank you, Michelle. They say every person needs a Vicky, and that's true. That's my secretary. Although she's not officially part of the Tourism Expo, she's always officially a part of everything. So allow me to call Vicky forward and just say thank you to her as well. So unfortunately, I'm a very busy man, and I've pulled in extra help. So Chantel, please come forward and just to say thank you to you as well. We are a very busy team. Thanks, Chantel, as well. All right, and for the sake of time, I will carry on while I wait for Chantel. So 25 years is not something that just happens, and although we continuously to innovate, I'd like to share one or two things about that just now. And we are proud of how we go forward, and every year we do redefine the message. Everything has a beginning. And many of us have been here from the beginning, which does not include myself. But let's celebrate the beginning as well. Therefore, I'd like to call Glenda forward and just say thank you for starting this wonderful thing called the Tourism Expo in the year 1999. Thank you, Glenda. Right, so allow me another 4 minutes, if I apologize for taking your time. Namibia is truly the land of the light. And today we have the planetarium here to celebrate that. The diversity that this country can give, and I believe the entire Gaza region as well, is not just about 400,000 elephants or a couple of thousands of lions. It is about the stars and the birds. But let's celebrate the light today. In celebration of the theme Beyond Borders, I'd like to share you the following.
No bamboos stretching wide underneath the African sky. Savannah stares with grace untamed. Namibia, land of light, where dreams take flight in the night. Oh, Namibia, mountains so grand, rivers flow through deserts old, life rise in stories untold. Mountains rise with ancient might. In every heartbeat, in every breath, Namibia's spirit conquers death. From coast to canyon, our hearts unite.
So let me declare my interest. That entire production, the lyrics, the song, and putting it together was done by artificial intelligence. The entire production was done by artificial intelligence. It is a reality in which we are operating, not just in the world of Microsoft, Elon Musk, but also in the world of tourism. It is here to stay. And how we utilize it thoughtfully, properly, and all those morally correct words is important. But do not underestimate the power of artificial intelligence in the world that we are right now. And in the world of tourism and marketing, this country, we will see a lot more of that. We just wanted to share the power of AI. For the record, we'd just like to declare our interest as well that AI does comply to NTP dress code. We saw the individual running with clothes on the dunes. But we did produce this before the story broke in our papers this morning, so I just want to declare that interest as well. It's fair to say that tourism knows no borders, and technology is part of that statement. And in terms of the Tourism Expo, we want to celebrate the totality of what it means beyond borders, and therefore do engage us at this Tourism Expo and see how we see technology going forward as well. But coming back to the theme of beyond borders, the focus with Zambia, Zimbabwe, Angola, Botswana, and South Africa, and I'll explain now why, is critical for us to go forward. We believe at NMH that for the future of tourism, we need to be the epicenter of tourism in the world. And Namibia on its own will not cut it. Our partners in Zambia, Angola, Zimbabwe, Botswana, and South Africa are critical that we work together in making us this epicenter of tourism in the world. We have the best to offer that no other part of the world can do. So let's work a lot more. So although our theme this year was about Kaza, next year we're going to celebrate the Kalahari Desert in its totality from Uppington to south of Angola. That is how big the Kalahari Desert is. We will be celebrating the year thereafter the Ice and the Richtersveld and the Transfrontier. And lastly, I own a skeleton coast with Angola. And that's why South Africa will be part of this message going forward. We are committed towards the concept of taking tourism beyond borders. And through this theme in the next 3 years, we will celebrate the concept of going beyond borders. My phone crashed this morning, so I'm back on paper. So I'm sure that I've just redefined the concept of chaos. We've launched a brand called Enjoy. And the purpose of the Enjoy brand is to focus on those lodges that do tell their story on local levels, but can't quite reach the national level message. We have these wow lodges. I think a lot of conservancies with their partners have created these wow stories. And it's just wow what we've been able to achieve, not just in Namibia, but in Southern Africa. But every town has its lodges and its accommodation. Every village has its town and its accommodation. Everyone has a story to tell. Enjoy's purpose is to take all those stories, all 5,000 stories to tell in Southern Africa. There are about 5,000 lodges. And making sure that their voice is also heard. Not just those that go to ITB, but the little place called X, I won't mention the name, in Sumet, or the little place called Y in Otavi. We want to make sure that their message is also heard. So the Enjoy brand will focus on getting the message across of every single one of these 5,000 lodges so that their voice can also be heard. Not taking anything away from our flagship lodges. And it's wow that they are there. I'm married for 30 years in 2 weeks' time, and yes, Honourable Minister, I'm going to King Nayeli. It is a wow place, but there are more than those wow places, and yet those messages are told at local level but not national level. Our commitment is to make sure that message is shared, so please engage our Enjoy stand and see how we're promoting local tourism on a national platform. Currently, we reach about 1 million people on a daily basis through all our platforms. We believe through the strategy in the next 24 months, we'll be able to double it to 2 million per day. I don't think there are too many brands in the world that can meet that. I'd like to state 2 statements still, and one is the following. COVID-19 has come and gone, and we all know what happened there. But one of the things that came out of COVID-19 was our focus on education program, where over 15 million books to grade 0 and 3 children have been delivered. And working with our CASA partners in the wetlands, we'll be able to reach over 7,500 children on a weekly basis through the development of these books. We would not be able to do this project without tourists and tour operators. So it's something that we would like to work with more tour operators, and not just in the Republic of Namibia. You know, we just make the statement about local culture. So let's go there. It's called the language Timbukushu. It is least spoken in Namibia compared to Botswana and Angola. We have a fully developed education program for Timbukushu, but we're struggling to get it rolled out because in our country called Namibia, of the 3 countries, it's spoken the least. I understand what 1885 did, but let's not just look at tourism and beyond borders. Let's look at culture and beyond borders as well, so that a language like Timbukushu, as an example, can live beyond borders and not be caught up in borders. It's not just about tourism, it is about local communities and making sure that these local communities are not just heard in terms of tourism, but also in terms of their language and their culture. Lastly, to meet this challenge, Namibia Media Holdings have taken a very firm decision, and that is to rebrand it to Network Media Hub. I'd like us just to play the logo quickly and then share the reason for that. It is fair to say that the concept of beyond borders is not just something that, that affects the tourism industry. It also affects the media industry. And it's fair to say that in the media industry, there is also no longer a concept of borders. It just takes your last 5 views you did on Facebook or on Instagram or on TikTok in the last 5 minutes. And I guarantee you, all 5 of them were not on platforms in the Republic of Namibia. It's a reality of media. That's what it is. So for us to make sure that we can get this message across of tourism, we need to be proud Namibians, proudly born in the town of Tsumeb, but totally African. And to meet that challenge, we've rebranded to Network Media Hub, still being NMH, but not just for Namibia, but for the region. We're not here to take over the world, and definitely not the entire region either. But the CASA, Trans-Kalahari, Trans-IICE and Iona is our map to make sure that the message in those areas is heard, not just for tourism, but for local communities. So allow us to take your message and share it to everybody in the region. And thank you once again for being here. And please enjoy the Tourism Expo 2024. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for that vote of thanks, but also sharing the vision of Network Media Hub and also the great job that you've been doing. But equally also important really to appreciate the effort that you do in terms of promoting tourism and also highlighting the transfrontier conservation areas that you focus on to make sure the message continues. Thank you, Mr. Botha, Group CEO of NMH. Allow me therefore to request all of us to stand for the singing of the AU and the national anthem, and then we'll then continue with what is left thereafter. Technical team.
Let us all unite and celebrate together the victories won for our liberation. Let us dedicate ourselves to rise together to defend our liberty and unity. O sons and daughters of Africa, flesh of the sun and flesh of the sky, let us make Africa the tree of life. Namibia, land of the brave freedom fight, we have won. Glory to their bravery, whose blood waters our freedom. We give our love and loyalty, together in unity, contrasting beautiful Namibia, Namibia, our country, beloved land of savannas, oh, guide the banner of liberty. Namibia, our country, Namibia, motherland, we love thee.
Thank you. We may be seated. Thank you so much. And to our listeners or followers on online platforms, those that were present, dignitaries, Your Excellencies, invited guests, the media that have been here, the performers, Amitofo Care Center, and everyone else who's contributed for the success of the official opening of the 2024 Tourism Expo. We thank you so much. We're still not done, so to speak. What will follow now is that we're doing an invite. Of course, there will be an entertainment by Amitofo that will continue. And thereafter, there will be a cocktail event. The people, the VIPs in the tent, a place is prepared on far right. And then also, there will be people, I can't see them there. There will be ladies on the floor to guide everyone else where the cocktail will be for the rest of the team. So there are 2 stations that are prepared. Please don't leave. Equally, in tourism, we network. Please don't leave before you network. You say hello to the next person and understand what is happening there. So thank you so much, Honorable Minister, for your time here. We appreciate you just came from the US. You went to travel, but we appreciate you are attending this event. So thank you. Let's clap hands for ourselves for being here, and let's enjoy the expo. It's here.